is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Thursday, July 16th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Things are going to look different in our schools, at church, and throughout our daily lives for the foreseeable future.
A message from the state health commissioner as the governor announces the state will stay at the stage 4.5 of the Back on Track plan. Working for you, the new reopening timeline and how the state is handling the increased demand for testing. Because of the pandemic, doctors' offices and hospitals have implemented various restrictions. This morning, a mother is voicing her frustrations after her husband was not allowed at appointments for their newborn who was diagnosed with Down syndrome.
We're returning to community-based, beat-oriented policing as a model.
Only on RTV6, the mayor of Indianapolis details why his plan will create safer neighborhoods. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday. And Lauren, by this time of the day, usually I can see the sunrise from my living room window. But as Todd has been talking about, the cloud cover is not going to make that possible today. No sunrise for us here in Franklin, at least that we can see for the next couple of hours.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me know, because here in the studio, we don't have any windows, so I never know what's going on outside. But you guys, as I was walking in this morning, I noticed the breeze out there. It was so windy, the flags flying around, and it was sticky out there. Todd, it almost felt like I was on the beach in Florida at night or something like that.
Yeah, you know, it's probably even more sticky. I just went outside and did a weather check, and we just had a light shower go through downtown Indianapolis, and that made it even feel more sticky out there than it already was when you walked out the door a little while ago. Lauren, the breeze is still present, though. Here's a view from downtown to the north, and you can see those clouds moving really, really quickly across the sky, and that is because those winds are pretty strong, not only at the surface, but in the upper levels of the atmosphere as well, behind this front that's made its way through the area. Not much in the way of shower activity around the area anymore. There's a few light showers making their way from Noblesville to just north of Muncie. That's the shower that I just mentioned that wet the ground in downtown Indianapolis, and you see how fast that is moving as well over towards the Muncie area. But that's just about it as far as rainfall. Do not think of today as a very wet day. Yes, there could be a spot shower as we get into the afternoon hours as well, but we're not going to see anything significant. So don't let you cancel any plans if you do have them outdoors. 70s right now in all locations. Very, very muggy. We're on our way up to a high today of about 85 degrees. The clouds should start to thin as we get into the afternoon hours for some sunshine. But that 85, even though it's a little cooler than it has been, it's going to feel a little more uncomfortable because the humidity, it's not going to change throughout the entire day as it remains elevated from start to finish. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this morning. This is I-65 and I-465 of you here on the northwest side of the city. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed in all directions. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads throughout your Thursday morning and let you know if there are any crashes or delays. But right now, you shouldn't have too many problems if you're heading up to work early this morning. Raphael.
Lauren, we are staying put. Indiana's Back on Track plan to get us through this pandemic will not move forward as anticipated.
And our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with what that all means for you. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning. Governor Holcomb announced that we are staying right at stage 4.5 of the Moving Forward plan, and that's going to stay that way through the end of the month. That's opposed to what we were previously expecting, which was to move on to stage 5 this coming weekend. The decision comes as the state experiences some COVID-19 trends that the health commissioner calls concerning. Dr. Christina Bach says the number of positive cases has gone up for the second straight week in a row, and the 7-day positivity rate has steadily increased since June. Dr. Bach says testing capacity is becoming an issue again, in part because of supply and demand issues caused by spikes in other states.
We know residents are experiencing longer waits to get their test results and that they don't know what to do in the meantime. These are external factors that are beyond our control, and we have become skilled at adapting to them. Despite these challenges, we are able to expand our free testing this week with an additional 11 sites around the state.
Anyone who lives or works in Indiana can get a free COVID test through the state. And so what does stage 4.5 mean for you? That means that bars can stay open at 50% capacity. Restaurants can remain open at 75% 100% capacity, and all outdoor events can go on as planned with a limited amount of capacity as well. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for those details. Here in Indianapolis, city streets that were closed to help encourage outdoor dining, those streets, those avenues will remain blocked off. And here are these details that you need to know about. The Department of Public Works announced the closures of Mass Avenue, Georgia Street, and Broad Ripple Avenue. They will all be extended now through the Labor Day weekend. They were originally scheduled to reopen on Monday.
Raphael, local mom is frustrated this morning because her husband isn't able to come to their newborn's doctor appointments, and it's all due to the pandemic. Our Kelsey Anderson explains her frustrations as they come as others are able to go to dinner and have large parties. Kelsey.
Because of COVID-19, many expecting mothers are having to go to doctor's appointments alone and only have one person there for delivery. And mothers like Chelsea Davis Granberry are asking hospitals to ease those restrictions. Navy June Granberry was born nearly a month ago. She was diagnosed at birth with Down syndrome. Because of her diagnosis, Navy has had several doctor's appointments and only one parent is able to go. Her mom, Chelsea Davis Granberry, is asking hospitals to ease the restrictions so at least one more person can come to all the appointments for expecting mothers and newborns.
Pregnancy is already hard. Pregnancy in a pandemic is even harder. And to go through that alone at your appointments, for fathers not to be able to hear their first baby's heartbeat on the ultrasounds, or, people that receive news that need their support person there. I think it's creating more of a problem than it is helping.
Granberry tells me she's glad she opted out of getting the 10-week blood draw that tests for Down syndrome because she likely would have found out her daughter's diagnosis alone. I did reach out to St. Vincent Hospital. That's where Navy is having her appointments, and they tell me that they are following CDC recommendations and guidelines, but they do offer iPads so a second parent or guardian can participate in the appointments virtually. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Only on RTV6, the city of Indianapolis is recommitting to placing police officers in neighborhoods.
Lauren, community policing is making a comeback as the city sees a spike in gun-related violence as well as homicides, while overall crime is down. We asked the mayor about his plan during his visit to an Indy Parks summer program at Garfield Park on the south side of Indianapolis. We sat more than 6 feet apart and talked about the return to community policing. It was dropped in 2008 and 2009 due to the recession and a lack of officers. The city is now expanding from 78 to 106 community policing areas.
When we had a zone policing model, an officer on a shift was charged with patrolling, in some cases, as much as 12 to 15 square miles. In a beat-oriented system, that officer is now going to be responsible for about a square mile to a mile and a half square, which means that not only will they have more time to perform their duties, they'll have more time to interact with the public, which I think has the added benefit of increasing the community's trust because they will get to know their officers better. The officers will get to know the neighborhoods better. And I hope that that will improve the overall level of trust between law enforcement and the community.
Mr. Mayor, the Indy FOP endorsed you for your second term. But in recent weeks, they've been very critical of the way you've handled the downtown protests. What do you say to them? Their hashtag is now, "Where's our elected leaders?" Your response to the Indy FOP?
I don't take it personally, number one. Number two, I am thoughtful about their criticism, and I try to incorporate that in my decision making. As I said earlier, we don't always agree on everything. There's some disagreement that is inevitable, but at the end of the day, they're representing their members as best they can. I realize that's what they're doing. And so the criticisms themselves, whether it be police action shootings, whether it be the unfortunate several nights of violence that the downtown experienced, or frankly just a general overall criticism about the gun violence in certain areas of our city, those are valuable perspectives for them to offer me as we collectively make decisions about how we are going to address them.
We will hear more on the mayor's public safety plan later this afternoon with the police chief at his side at a news conference. But new at 6:30 here on Good Morning Indiana, how long will the mask mandate last in Marion County? He answers that, as well as the future of the rent assistance program meant to help thousands of people not face eviction because of COVID-19. Soon, the words Black Lives Matter will be emblazoned on Virginia Avenue, historic place, the home of the Madam C.J. Walker Theater. What will that mean?
Unless and until we acknowledge that Black lives matter, then our call that all lives matter rings hollow.
More of our conversation with the mayor is a digital extra. He talks about helping downtown businesses, the reopening of schools in Marion County, and the expansion of street closures on Broad Ripple and Mass Avenues. This discussion will soon be posted on the IndyChannel.com. Lauren?
Raphael, thank you. Coming up here, hundreds of Indiana churches have received federal funds through the Paycheck Protection Program, which was intended to help small businesses rebound from this pandemic. Call 6 investigates what religious organizations were paid and why some say more needs to be done to protect taxpayers. Todd.
And Lauren, the good news is we're getting a break from the big time heat in the forecast today due to a little more in the way of cloud cover. Unfortunately, it's going to remain very muggy throughout the day today, and the humidity is going to stick around. Temperatures today in the low to mid 80s. We're talking 90s, though, in our future, including all the way through the weekend. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV 6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This morning, Call 6 Investigates is revealing new information that hundreds of churches and faith-based groups received federal funds to the Paycheck Protection Program. And Lauren, we're talking about millions of dollars in taxpayer funds.
So the rebound is our commitment to ensuring that programs that are in place to help businesses get back on their feet are working as they should. In our care, Kenny is sorting through who got the most money and why some say more needs to be done to protect taxpayers and the First Amendment.
Traders Point Christian Church in Whitestown, St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church in Kokomo, Northview Christian Life Church in Indianapolis. These are just some of the Central Indiana houses of worship and religious nonprofits that received the most federal funding through the Paycheck Protection Program. Loans that don't have to be repaid as long as they're spent on things like payroll, mortgages, and utilities. The Small Business Administration doesn't have a category for religious institutions, but Call 6 Investigates counted at least 250 churches, temples, and religious nonprofits in our state that received loans of $150,000 or more. These 3 churches are among those that received between $1 and $2 million, according to data just released by the Small Business Administration. The pension fund of the Christian Church based in Indianapolis received $1 million. The nonprofit serves 14,000 pastors and 3,700 congregations and used the money to keep paying its employees and rent.
We felt that it was the best responsibility in taking care of our pastors and church workers for us to go ahead and apply, which then would reduce our operating expenses for the year.
Church of God Ministries in Anderson also received $1 million through the PPP. The nonprofit provides leadership for thousands of churches across the country and used the federal funds to cover 8 weeks of salary for 78 employees. General Director Jim Lyon welcomes SBA releasing the information.
We're Jesus people, so there's a famous scripture that says, not a word spoken in secret will not be revealed at the last day. So we kind of live in a world of transparency anyway.
Some national groups like the Interfaith Alliance have criticized houses of worship for taking taxpayer money, some calling it a violation of the First Amendment and separation of church and state.
This is a publicly mandated project in an extreme crisis in our country for the common good. The church-state issues are only relevant if certain churches were favored above others, if certain religious groups or even nonprofits were favored among others. But that's not the way this works. Everyone has equal access.
The Interfaith Alliance says while certain denominations were not favored, the group is still concerned.
Just doesn't quite sit right.
Saying it sets a dangerous precedent because many churches are exempt from most taxes, like property taxes.
You're channeling taxpayer money into institutions that then are not contributing tax dollars back into the economy. So it works out really well for those religious institutions, not so well for the taxpayers who are now footing the bill for those payrolls.
The Interfaith Alliance also criticized the SBA for not having a category for religious entities, making it harder to determine who received money. And the SBA did not release which companies received smaller loans of less than $150,000, which makes up 85% of PPP loans.
Once you open the door to public funding, you open the door to a little bit of public oversight as well.
So we asked SBA's district director for Indiana to explain.
A lot of those small loans, their address is their house. There's a fine line between being transparent and protecting people's personally identifiable information.
Do you feel this is a good use of taxpayer money?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, nonprofits do have employees, and the whole idea is to keep folks on the payroll, to keep them off unemployment, to keep the economy churning along as best as possible.
The Paycheck Protection Program still has $130 billion left, and businesses can apply through August 8th if they haven't already received one. Central Indiana churches and nonprofits are grateful for the money, while some groups are urging the SBA to release even more detail moving forward. Kara Kenny, RTV 6.
Kara, thank you. You can read responses from churches who received federal funds, all in this story in the RTV6 app. We also have a database where you can look up whether your church, your favorite restaurant, or your business received a PPP loan. Time now for a check of our Thursday forecast with Todd Clausen. Hey, TK.
Hey, Lauren, good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. Starting off this morning a little different than we have the past few mornings where we had those comfortable temperatures and all that sunshine. This morning, we have a lot of humidity out there, and as you can see, quite a bit of cloud cover as well all across central Indiana. And we'll be dealing with these clouds through a good chunk of the morning, but we'll thin them out for some sunshine here and there as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And once we get to the afternoon hours, can't rule out the chance of a spot shower or two, but anything we see today is going to be very, very light. The humidity is in place already, but it'll get even higher for the weekend as the heat returns as well, with temperatures in the 90s, and with the combination of the heat and humidity and the hazy sunshine we're expecting to see in the days ahead. There will be about a daily chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Today, that's what's left of that line of storms that went through. Just a hit or miss shower near LaPel as well as Alexandria and up towards Gaston. And that is just about it across central Indiana as the heavier rain is moving through Fort Wayne and pushing towards Detroit now. But there's still quite a bit of cloud cover off to our west. So you just got to be patient. I do think we'll thin the clouds as we progress throughout the day. And again, that hit or miss shower will be possible, but nothing substantial. If you're out on the golf course, if that's in your plans for the day today, you will not even have to go back to the clubhouse. It'll just be a light passing shower, and that is just about it. And then you notice by 7 o'clock here, we're thinning the clouds out, and quite a bit of sunshine is working its way into the forecast. Temperatures this morning are in the mid-70s. It's very muggy all across the area. And you'll notice that humidity throughout the entire day today. And the temperatures, because of the clouds this morning, are going to be pretty slow to warm. We'll be in the low 70s through about the 11 o'clock hour, then mid 70s. And as those clouds start to thin, temperatures eventually climb up into the low 80s later on this afternoon. Tomorrow, the sunshine is back. It's a mostly sunny day. There's just a very, very small chance of a stray shower tomorrow afternoon. But look at that high temperature, up to 90 degrees, and then working our way into the weekend. Even hotter for Saturday and Sunday, 93 to about 95 across the area, with heat index values on Sunday afternoon that could be over 100 degrees. So it's very hot, it's very humid. And then as we get into next week, the best storm chances arrive in the forecast as we work our way into Tuesday and Wednesday.
Todd, thank you. The new Cheetah Chase water coaster is now launching at Holiday World and Splash and Safari, and you can be one of the first to ride it. And it's all thanks to Good Morning Indiana. This morning, we have your chance to win a pair of ticket vouchers to the parks, and all you got to do is be the 6th caller right now. The number's on your screen, 317-269-1459. Good luck. It is 6:22. We'll be right back. The time right now is 6:25. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Raphael, it's time to talk about what is trending at 6.
So, Lauren, I'm excited. I have a deal for all of our friends who are single.
Okay.
Okay, but listen, You're on your own, though, once I give you the information. So check this out. A new treasure hunt will now be underway in Michigan, and about $1 million worth of gold and jewelry up for grabs. But this is somewhat bittersweet. The pandemic forced a jewelry store to close, so the owners decided to make a real-life treasure hunt out of the remaining inventory. They buried stashes of vintage engagement rings, coins, and more all across the state of Michigan. That hunt begins August the 1st, and clues to the treasure cost $49. Not a bad deal if you can find that piece of jewelry that you really need.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. All right, Raphael, we know heroes come in all sizes, right? So a 6-year-old boy in Wyoming is being hailed as a hero after saving his sister from a dog attack. Bridger Walker jumped into action when a German Shepherd mix charged towards his 4-year-old sister. His family says while he was shielding her, the dog leaped and latched onto Bridger's cheek. Actress Anne Hathaway, Hugh Jackman, and others have since praised him for his bravery. Yeah, way to go.
Listen, I have 2 brave people that I want you to meet. Bravo to Marcus Harvey on the left and Trevante Smith from Grant County. They are our hometown heroes today. They received a Citizens Life Saving Award for pulling a man from a burning home back on June the 21st in Marion in Grant County. We want to thank those 2 Good Samaritans. They are praiseworthy. Now time to check your forecast. And Todd, as I look outside, it is a little bit more light, but you can't see the sun, just a wall of clouds overhead.
Yeah, still quite a bit of cloud cover all across central Indiana, Raphael. As the day progresses, though, we should be able to thin these clouds out for some sunshine, but nothing like what we saw yesterday and the day before, which were absolutely beautiful across the area. Here's the view from downtown to the north, and much of the same as Raphael's talking about, a solid deck of cloud cover. And these clouds are going to be in place throughout the morning hours. It's very muggy as well. And the temperatures aren't really going to do a whole lot here this morning because of that cloud cover that's in place. But eventually, as they start to thin a little bit, we'll see temperatures climb up into the 80s later on this afternoon. So you have to be pretty patient for the brighter weather and eventually the warmer weather. But the humidity, that is not going to change from start to finish. It stays pretty steady. So what you're dealing with this morning is what we'll deal with later on this afternoon. Tomorrow, temperatures make the jump up into the 90s. Once we get there, we're there for the weekend as well. More on that forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you. Well, the IRS is back open this week, and that means they will resume processing millions of tax refunds. It also means that their helplines are staffed once again. If you have questions about your stimulus check, consumer reporter John Matarese explains.
Good news for anyone who has questions about their taxes or their stimulus check or is still waiting for their refund. As of this week, the IRS is open for business again. The IRS shut down most of its operations March 15th, furloughing thousands of workers and closing its phone helplines. What it didn't say at the time was that it also stopped hand processing paper tax refunds, which meant more than 4 million of them sat untouched for 3 months. But this week, those processing centers are now running again. In addition, it's now staffing its phone lines again, which means you can finally call about tax filing or stimulus check issues. However, don't be surprised if getting through to a live human is as tough as reaching a human at the local unemployment office. The easiest way to check on your tax refund or stimulus check is still to go to the IRS website. That way you don't spend hours on hold and you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, here's your 6:30 news feed. New details on the shooting in Brownsburg, leaving 2 men dead. Police say 22-year-old Joshua Hayes attacked 36-year-old Seth Robertson unprovoked on Tuesday. Investigators say that Hayes initially shot and killed Robertson as the 2 worked in the Brownsburg cemetery. When Hayes went after a second man, police say that a bystander shot and killed Hayes to try and stop him. Officials say a motive is unclear and there is no connection between Hayes and the victims.
Concerned citizens in Idaho alerted investigators to an animal cruelty case here in central Indiana. The FBI raided a home on South 300 West in Kokomo Tuesday. Federal authorities announced the arrest of 19-year-old Crystal Scott. She's accused of posting videos of herself torturing animals. She's charged with, quote, making and distributing animal crush videos. Police in Boise contacted the FBI after getting several tips.
Let's now go to Hamilton County. One school district will become the first in our state to offer a new barricading safety tool to help protect students and staff. Noblesville Schools has installed about 1,000 new door barricading devices in all buildings across their district. The devices create a safe zone within school buildings during a crisis.
Parts of Broad Ripple, Mass Ave, Georgia Street, they will stay closed through the Labor Day holiday at least. The streets have been closed to parking and drivers since May to make room for more outdoor dining and to help people social distance while they're walking around. This is the second extension of those closures. DPW says it is reviewing how to make additional parking available along Mass Ave. But first, here at 6:30, I want to thank you for starting your day with us. Our team here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael, thanks for joining us down in Franklin.
Good morning to you, Lauren and Todd. Thankful, really, for the rain. The lawn loves the rain, Todd, but no relief from the humidity.
Yeah, you know, that humidity is with us from start to finish throughout the day today. And honestly, it's going to carry, Raphael, over into your Friday and your weekend as well. And the problem with the weekend is the temperatures get back up into the 90s. We will not be in the 90s today. That is the good news. We get a little bit of a break, and that's due to the cloud cover that's going to be around for a good chunk of the day today. You can see the clouds firmly in place currently this morning with just a few spotty showers here off towards the northeast as you work your way up into the Muncie area and Anderson, a few showers into Hartford City and Gas City there to the north. And as we expand out, the clearing line is still well off to our west. So you just got to be a little bit patient here throughout the day today. Eventually, these clouds will start to thin out and we will start to bring in more in the way of sunshine throughout the afternoon and evening hours. But it's a mostly cloudy start with the clouds. Temperatures will not move much at all. We'll kind of stay right where we are in the low to mid 70s across the area. But eventually, once those clouds do thin, we are into the 80s for your afternoon highs. Our average high this time of year is 85, so we're going to be running at or just below that in most locations. And just consider it a little bit of a brief break from the 90s because we're at 90 tomorrow and then mid 90s for the weekend. More on that in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is over on the southeast side of town where everything's traveling up to speed, picking up, as you can see, I-465 here and I-74 on the southeast side. We will continue to keep a close eye on traffic this Thursday and let you know if there are any major crashes or delays you'll want to avoid. Raphael?
Lauren, Indiana's progress is on pause when it comes to reopening the state due to COVID-19. The Hoosier state will remain on 4.5 on the plan for several more days. What does that mean? What does 4.5 mean? Alyssa Donovan has been doing a great job this morning explaining what that means. She joins us live this morning with more details. Alyssa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Raphael. Basically, staying in 4.5 means not a lot is going to change. The governor made that announcement yesterday, and it's due to trends that we're seeing in COVID-19 here in this state. So we're not going to move on to stage 5. We're going to stay exactly the same for at least 2 more weeks through the end of the month. The reason for the delay is because we are seeing an increase in cases in Indiana. For the second week in a row, the number of positive cases has increased in the state with more than 4,300 new cases in just the past week. State officials say they are responding by consistently ramping up testing capacity and sending strike teams to critical areas. We're told that hospitalizations due to COVID-19 are also increasing. One issue we're running into now is supply and demand.
While we continue to increase our testing capacity, we are having to adapt to the supply and demand issues that have been created by the significant spikes that we've seen in other states across the country. This is similar to what we saw back in the spring and has impacted our ability to get some supplies. It has also increased the wait time for our lab results in many cases.
Through at least the end of the month, outdoor events like festivals, parades, and fairs can operate at reduced capacity. Bars and nightclubs can stay at 50% capacity and restaurants at 75% capacity. And those having gatherings of more than 250 people over the next couple weeks, they have to have a safety plan that's approved by their local health department. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Here at 6:34, our Kelsey Anderson is looking at more impacts of the pandemic. She spoke with a local mother who's frustrated because her husband can't come to their newborn's doctor appointments. She brings us their story.
Because of COVID-19, many expecting mothers are having to go to doctor's appointments alone and only have one person there for delivery. And mothers like Chelsea Davis Granberry are asking hospitals to ease those restrictions.
I struggle with anxiety, so I was very anxious, from the beginning, especially because through my pregnancy, I had to do the appointments and everything alone.
Chelsea Davis Granberry gave birth nearly a month ago to her third child, Navy June Granberry. She says during her pregnancy, her experience going to appointments was okay.
The hospitals did try to make it very normal for us. Not a lot of talk about COVID or, what's going on. The only abnormal part was everybody's wearing masks.
But when Navy was born, doctors diagnosed her with Down syndrome.
They can detect Down syndrome on ultrasounds, but they had no indication that on her ultrasound she had Down syndrome. So it was 100% a birth diagnosis.
And today she says she's grateful they found at birth because that meant her husband was there to support her.
I'm very emotional, so had I found out at my appointments without him there or without anybody there, I don't know that I would have been able to handle that.
Now that Navy is home, Granberry says her frustration is growing because her husband isn't able to come to her occupational and physical therapy appointments.
They're actually working with her at such a young age, telling us exercises, telling us things to do because she does have Down syndrome. And when I'm taking all of that in by myself along with all the other information, one, it's hard to remember, and two, it's just very emotional.
She tells me she agrees the hospitals need to keep people safe, but she's hoping the restrictions will ease soon so her husband can go to the appointments with her.
Right, we can go out to eat, we can have parties, we can, invite people into our homes, but he can't come to our appointments together, and it makes me sad.
I did reach out to St. Vincent Hospital. That's where Navy is having her appointments, and they tell me that they are following CDC recommendations and guidelines, but they do offer iPads so a second parent or guardian can participate in the appointments virtually. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Residents in Indianapolis impacted by coronavirus are eligible for rent assistance. This morning, only on RTV6, the mayor talks about how residents are taking advantage of that vital program. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on RTV6. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. New this morning, the mayor of Indianapolis says that the city will be making a renewed commitment to community policing. He'll detail his plans later today. But during a one-on-one interview with RTV6, the mayor says the city has the staffing to make that commitment that would allow officers to patrol smaller areas in the city. The mayor also addressed the COVID-19 crisis because today marks 1 week since masks and face coverings were required in Marion County. How long do you presume that we'll have to wear a mask? Will this be weeks, months, a year?
The order is indefinite, so it could be quite a while. Dr. Kane specifically left it indefinite because the numbers will drive our response. If we see a decrease, as Dr. Kane suggested, if we see an overall daily decrease in the number of positive diagnosis and our levels of positivity stay down, then perhaps she will consider lifting it. But for the time being, the order is indefinite. And I think that as a precautionary measure, it's very important for people to wear the masks.
The rental assistance program is underway. Marion County is on its own in the sense that the other counties have their own fund. You're looking at one for the entire city of Indianapolis. Some say we're looking at a possible eviction tsunami based on the COVID-19 situation. Mr. Mayor, do you have enough money? Because some landlords are not even participating.
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
We had allocated anywhere from $15 to $16 million, which really makes Indianapolis one of the most robust rental assistance communities in the entire country. And on the third day, we have now received applications for over $8 million in rental assistance. And I have reason to believe that we've already signed up or are in the process of signing up anywhere from 8,000 to 9,000 residents of our city.
So here are more details for you this morning that you need to know. To apply for the rent assistance program, Marion County residents need to go to indyrent.org. That's Marion County residents, indyrent.org. Hoosiers who live in the other 91 counties need to reach out to the state. So outside of Marion County, you must connect with Indiana Housing Now, all one word, .org. To get the assistance that you need, your landlord must agree to participate in this program. Soon, the words Black Lives Matter will be emblazoned on Virginia Avenue, historic place, the home of the Madam C.J. Walker Theater. What will that mean?
Unless and until we acknowledge that Black lives matter, then our call that all lives matter rings hollow.
Our entire conversation with the mayor is now a digital extra. He talks about helping downtown businesses, the reopening of schools in Marion County, and the expansion of street closures on Broad Ripple Avenue, Mass Ave, and Georgia Street, and the challenge that's going to last beyond Labor Day. This discussion will be posted, of course, on our website, theindychannel.com.
Raphael, high school football practice is back, but it's not necessarily business as usual. Just after the break, how the Center Grove Trojans are preparing for an uncertain season. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a muggy morning across central Indiana. We have clouds in place, so it's not the brightest start to our day. And because of the cloud cover, our temperatures are going to hold pretty steady across the morning hours, but by this afternoon we should work some sunshine in. As that happens, we should see the temperatures jump up into the 80s by 4 p.m. That will be your high for the day today. Tomorrow we make the jump up into the 90s. We'll talk more about that when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV 6.
Welcome back. So the high school football season is scheduled to begin on August 21st. Workouts have started already around the state.
And Lauren, luckily we went to college together because we are high school football rivals. You love Center Grove. I love Franklin. Two great teams in our state. But as Sports Director Dave First shows us, Center Grove, your team, is a favorite to win a championship if teams actually take the field.
You better get up early to beat Center Grove to the practice field. Trojan workouts begin at 8 a.m., but expectations for this group have seemingly come even earlier.
This team on paper is the best team we've ever had. But we had a 15-0 team that was pretty good, so we can't say they're better than them yet. They're all working on that today.
Head coach Eric Moore enters his 22nd season at CG. He returns nearly everyone from a team that went to the state finals last fall and firmly believes they can make it back this fall.
We tell our kids every year, us coaching staff here, we got the map to get there. Just trust us, trust me, and believe in us, and it can happen.
But the question is, will they have that chance? Like so many programs around the state, pandemic uncertainty appears to be the only cloud in the blue sky of this offseason.
We take temperatures in the parking lot and make sure nobody gets on the campus that's, not well. A lot of hand washing. Kids bring their own stuff. It's like the Little League football days, except their moms aren't sitting around here.
Full group period now, let's go! Like the game itself, there are sides. Moore is a father, husband, son, and mentor, but also a coach that sees how hard his players have worked. Carson Steele is one of the best running backs in the state. Taven Jackson is a rising star at quarterback.
Right there. There you go.
Center Grove routinely cleans equipment. Players bring their own towels and water bottles, but the debate still rages at a higher level. To play or not.
I think pretty much all the coaches that coach, you want to be off or on. We're cold and hot. We don't. There's no warm in the middle. Let's either play or not play and be done. But I think we need to give this a chance.
At this point, there are as many options as a wing T formation, but ultimately hoping fall football doesn't become the fall of football.
The frustration about this is playing it out. And would you take only playing 3 games? Yeah, you take what they give you, but you want to. The thing about it is you can't keep young kids this age in this middle area. They can't concentrate that way. You got to let's go to school and let's play football.
playing out a season worth getting up for. Dave First, RTV 6 Sports.
And thank you, Dave. Join Dave on Friday night on the RTV6 Facebook page to honor graduating seniors. He's hosting the National Football Foundation Central Indiana Chapter Annual Scholastic Awards. 15 student athletes from 14 area schools are selected, and there are special honors like the Collegiate and Courage Awards. That's Friday night at 7:30, only on the RTV6 Facebook page, and congratulations to all of those amazing athletes. Now time to check your forecasts with Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. We're starting off this morning a little different than we have been the past few mornings, which have been absolutely terrific with the sunshine, the low humidity, and the comfortable temperatures. For one, we have the cloud cover around, as you can see, from downtown to the north. And we're also dealing with some very humid conditions this morning, left over from those showers that went through this morning. Now, going forward in this forecast, there will be some rain chances still. They're all very small rain chances, though, today, tomorrow, and through the weekend. Today, it's probably just maybe a quick passing shower, but going into the weekend, as we build in the heat and humidity, it's going to be more of those pop-up thunderstorms during the peak heating of the day. All that's left on Storm Team 6 radar this morning is a few spotty showers here to the north from Hartford City, extending down to the southwest towards Gaston, and then eventually Alexandria. It's probably nothing more than a sprinkle or two, could wet the ground, and that's just about it. And then back off to our west, you notice the clouds firmly in place across most of Indiana still, but eventually we'll start to thin these out as well, and we'll get into more in the way of sunshine as we work our way into the afternoon hours. As far as the afternoon goes, as that sun starts to make an appearance, it's not a question there again could be a quick passing shower that develops, but the overall trend throughout the afternoon and especially into the evening hours will be for the clouds to thin out for a little more in the way of sunshine as the day progresses. 70s right now all across the area, 71 Terre Haute, 74 in Indy, 75 is the current temperature in Richmond. While these clouds are in place this morning, temperatures really don't do a whole lot. As we work our way into the afternoon hours, though, temperatures do make the jump up into the low 80s for your afternoon highs. Tomorrow, it's sunny, it's hot, and it's humid with a high temperature of 90 degrees. Heat index values tomorrow probably getting up to about 95, 96, but as we work our way into the weekend and the temperatures jump up to 93 and 94 respectively for Saturday and Sunday, that's when heat index values could top the 100-degree mark on Sunday afternoon. So prepare yourself for that. Eventually, as we work our way into the middle of next week, a little bit cooler with temperatures back into the 80s, and that's due to more in the way of cloud cover and a little better chance of storms on Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this Thursday morning. Here's I-70 at Cumberland Road, where we have some ongoing construction along Interstate 70. As you can see, it's in pockets along your stretch there as you're heading in and out of the Indianapolis area and over into parts of Hancock County. So just keep that in mind if that's part of your commute. Everything's traveling up to speed, and we'll be right back after the break.
The 6 o'clock. It is Throwback Thursday time, and Lauren, for many families, a trip to an amusement park is really part of their family tradition.
Well, Raphael, back in 1985, a new summer tradition was preparing to open just off I-65 in Thorntown. Just days from its scheduled opening, workers were busy making sure that Middle Country USA was ready to open. Boone County leaders were excited for the park, but said inspecting such rides was new territory.
I'm satisfied that the rides have been checked out. That was my main concern, that they'd been checked out. I'm not a competent ride inspector, and unfortunately there aren't too many people around that are. And that was our concern, that someone who knows these rides a lot better than we take a good look at them.
Well, the park would later be known as the Old Indiana Fun Park before closing and being auctioned off back in 1996. It is time now for another check of our forecast on this Thursday. Todd, what can we expect as people are maybe trying to get outside today?
You know, a stray shower or two will be possible here, Lauren, as we work our way into the afternoon hours. But otherwise, temperature of 85 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. 90 on Friday, 93 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday. Heat index values, though, Sunday afternoon could be over 100 degrees. So it turns very hot and humid with just a chance of a spot storm.
Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic. Have a great Thursday.